My father flew 35 missions in World War II, two in D-Day. But what I learned on a simple fishing trip showed me who he really was. It was about 40 years ago. We were fishing out of San Francisco. Went on a party boat, and my dad and I, and obviously, the people that were on the boat. It wasn't privately put together, but anyway, there was a guy. I remember the guy that was a flower shop owner, which I learned about later. A father and son on their first trip. An old grizzled fisherman. He wearing one of those old fiddler hats with the braids across the top. One of those guys look like he's been on the high seas his whole life. Anyway, we all get on the boat and we head out. And then the father and son, they're waving to the mom and daughter and saying, "See, we're going on our first trip and everything." So we're just looking back. And anyways, my dad and I were always excited. I had been fishing before with my dad, but this was a different time. So anyway, got out there, got past the underneath the Golden Gate, and it started getting pretty rough. Started tossing around, and anyway, before we even got there, the little boy, he was probably, I don't know, maybe 12 years old. He started getting sick. He started feeling really bad, and his dad was over there patting him on the back and thinking, "Oh man," I said, "this is not going to be good." The whole day, it was a whole day boat. It wasn't a half day; it was a full day. We were going fishing, I think, for rock cod, bottom fishing. Anyway, so we get out there, and it was pretty rough, And one of the guys, that grizzled old guy, the fisherman, he dips his toothbrush into the bait tank and he starts brushing his teeth. It's like you can hear it. I didn't see him do it, but I heard the noise of his teeth, like. So I turn around and see this, like, oh man, what's he trying to do? Everybody's like looking at him, like, oh man. So this guy's tough. He's a seaworthy dog. So anyway, we get out there, and everybody starts getting the lines out, and everybody, it was rough. You can see people are starting to kind of not feel well. I saw the guy, the flower shop owner guy, he started getting kind of queasy. I'm thinking, oh man, here we go. And then I started, I've been on a fishing boat before, and I've gotten seasick, but I could feel it coming on. I'm saying, can't do this. So my dad, he says, "Hey, I got to eat some crackers," So we ate some saltine crackers. And anyway, so we're fishing, and about an hour in, and look over the father and son. The father starts getting sick, and I'm going, "Oh my God, here we go. This is horrible." And then the flower shop owner, God, man, he started getting really sick. He went over and got a blanket, wrapped himself up, the old gray wool blankets they use, I think, in the military. He's sitting there, he's on the deck, and he's just shaking. Just his teeth are chattering. And I'm thinking, oh man, he looked like he had malaria. I mean, he was like done. Just face is all white. So anyway, at the time I had to go to the bathroom, so I go into the bathroom, and these little chrome plated single sheet toilet paper deals, where you pull it out and you get a single sheet. Anyway, pull it out, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking over, and I see my face, and I'm looking, man, I was like white, like pale. I'm going, oh man, here it goes. Anyway, I started feeling really bad, and I look out, and most all the boat, everybody's going down, just sick as dogs. And I go out. My dad, his dad's still, he's out there fishing, and everybody else is, hanging around, sitting down, and trying to, I don't know, trying to get better, whatever. Which, as you know, you don't get better when you're out there until you get to shore. The old grizzled fisherman, he started looking weary. When I always talk to him, I say, "Hey, how you feeling?" He goes, "I'm not so good." I'm thinking, "Oh man, this is gonna be one of those trips." And I was just trying to keep it together. I was feeling really bad. Anyway, I go over to my dad, and my dad's just still fishing, just reeling away, bringing up some rock cod. And sure enough, the old grizzled fisherman, he loses it. go to a big swell, like this, and boom, everybody's throwing up. You can see like sheets of it like flowing in the wind. It's like, oh man, just really rough. Anyway, so as we're going through the day, everybody's sick, and I'm trying to hang with my dad. I'm sitting up there with him, just trying the best I can. I gotta, because my dad was tough. He was a tough guy, and somebody definitely to look up to. So I remember thinking, I go, how is he okay? Everyone else is falling apart, but I wasn't okay either, and neither was anybody else on the boat. So anyway, we come into shore and come around the corner underneath the Golden Gate Bridge, and the old guy, flower shop owner, he kind of looks up and he sees the bridge, and so we start coming around. We can see where we're going to end up. We can see the dock where we took off from. He just crawls up to the edge, the railing of the boat, and he's just like looking, like, man, just can't wait to get there. And I just felt so bad for him. It's just like you just feel it. And I was feeling crummy too. So lucky I hadn't lost it yet. So, but wasn't because I didn't want to. But man, it was horrible. So anyway, so we all get to the shore, and all start getting our stuff off the boat, and sure enough, here comes the mother and daughter, the father and son, and they get off the boat, and they're all excited to see him and everything, and they get off the boat, and they all put the father puts his arms around his wife and the daughter and the son, and they go walking off, and he's just shaking his head. You can just tell, man, he's poor guy, he's telling the story. Their first fishing trip. I'm sure they probably remember it to this day. I'm sure they probably never went out again. So, it hit me later. It's like in life and in business and sales, whatever you're doing, there are always going to be the moments that everything around you is falling apart. People panic, people react, people get seasick. When everyone else is losing it, the calm one becomes the anchor. And they become the one you trust, the one you rely on. And that was my dad. So, wanted to share that story with you guys. Something it's been on my mind. I've told the story 100 times. But as I shared in the beginning of why I started this channel, there's a lot of stories that I have, and I'm sure there's a lot of stories that you guys have. Hopefully this inspires you guys or anyone out there to start something, to archive your old stories that you could share with your kids. Because you know what? We all got thousands of stories, lots of life experiences. So hope you guys have a good rest of the day, and we'll catch you on the next video. Take care.